Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? I think I was on mute. Welcome, everyone. Can you please let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay? If my audio is good, if the video is good. Yep, okay, thank you. Welcome. I hope everyone got my message regarding the change that we had to make. We had an unforeseen event happen here, so we had to change the event from 9 a.m. PST to 10 a.m. PST. I'm in Brazil right now, so my time is a little different, but we did warn everyone that we had to change it. But do not worry, we will be recording this webinar. So if you want to share with anyone, if someone from your team is not able to join us at the moment, you will have that recording to share with them, okay? Welcome. I am just going to wait 2 more minutes, okay? So that everyone can join, all right? So everyone, this is the first training that we have for the year, okay? So this is the first 2024 challenge. I'm so challenge. It is a challenge, the training, but it is the first training for the year. So I'm so excited. It is just me today, okay? So hopefully I'll be able to handle all of your questions. If I'm not, please bear with me. And of course, we will somehow get those answers to you. So within a week after the training, all of your questions are answered, all right? So I will explain soon how you send these questions to us, okay? I will share the recording of this webinar as well, and do not worry, okay? So all of you who subscribed to the training will receive the link ahead, okay? So eventually we post all of our webinars in our pages. So pipefy.com/onboarding. I will send that link soon enough, and you do have access to all of our recorded trainings. But if you do want to get that ahead, you need to subscribe to the training and you will receive the recording either way, like within a week. All right. Welcome everyone. Hello. We have a lot of people here. I'm so happy. We are very excited to kickstart this year. Welcome. You do realize that I'm in Brazil, right? I'm in my summer clothes because it is very hot here. And well, my boyfriend is currently in Germany, and I have a few friends in the US, and they're telling me that they're feeling the exact opposite, right? So it's so cold in the US, in Europe, and that's just how it goes, but it's very different. It's very it's very different. Guys, I'm going to start the training now. Okay, I think we've waited enough. But I will give you some extra instructions here before we get started with our content, okay? So today we're going to talk about process management and the advantages of Pipefy. All right, so it will be an overall feature training. What does this mean? Sometimes we do host trainings about a specific feature. So sometimes we talk about automation, sometimes we talk about email templates, connections, and today we're going to talk about all of Pipefy and the advantages of our tool, and a little bit about the process management basically logic, okay? So if you have any questions regarding anything about our product, about your experience, your journey here, please send them to me. Here you have the Q&A button, you have the chat button as well, and feel free to do so, okay? Sometimes I cannot get to all of the answer in the training, but like I said in the beginning, we do get to your questions within a week. So if I don't answer them right away, they are saved and I will reply individually through my email, and I'm sure that your solution will be basically it will be provided to you within a week. All right. So for those who don't know me, I am a global product trainer here at Pipefy. You have seen my face a lot if you have gone through most of these trainings that we've hosted. Today it's just me. Sometimes I have a colleague here with me, but I am from our product team. So I talk constantly with our product managers, with the developers. I do have a good view of our roadmap for improvements and new launches. Okay. So basically, I'm the one that you can reach out to if you have any questions regarding that. And of course, regarding R2 as a whole. All right. I was just talking to one of our customers who I think is here right now, and she was wondering if her team would be able to understand the training today because they're still in the basic level. Today, the training is for basic and advanced levels, all right? Sometimes we do host trainings only for basic level, so I will talk about what is a pipe, what is a card, and it's just the very basics, the brilliant basics, as we like to call it. And sometimes we do host more advanced trainings. So we have soon, do not have the date yet, but we will have a training regarding integrations and API. So that will be very advanced for those who are willing to put their hands on a little code, okay, a little IT, but it is very helpful for you to understand the whole scope of Pipefy. All right, so we have all kinds of trainings here. And so far we have myself to help you with these questions, okay? I would like to show you here our community, okay? So this is a very important link that I will send here in the chat to everyone. And why is this community so helpful? Because we get to share our problems and our accomplishments, right? So this is a great place for you to ask any questions that you want, and you do not have only me to answer you. You have the whole Pipefy team. So we divide it into like our support team, our customer success team, our product managers as well. And of course, you have the help of other customers. So I think it's actually beautiful when I get to see someone from like customer success. They use Pipefy as a CRM, and they're asking a question about a specific feature, some usability, and someone from a finance department from a whole completely different company is able to help them with that question, right? And if you have shared difficulties, it's a great place for you to basically put everything that you want regarding Pipefy too. Okay, so I do advise you to get a hold of this community. Okay, I'm in the wrong place. Okay, perfect. So before we start, this is just a few explanations that I like to give before every training. You can use our Q&A button if you have any questions, and I will see them here in my, sometimes I will just keep my eyes going through from here to there because I have two screens here, but I will be paying attention to all of your questions. Our chat is also open, so you can send anything you want through there. And again, this webinar is being recorded. So everyone here will receive the recording, and eventually we will post it on our pages. All right, so let's go. I'm going to talk a little bit about the contextualization of a process management logic, okay? Then I will get to some definitions regarding our platform. I will talk about some new product launches that we had, and I have some important tips that might be a game changer according to what you use in Pipefy today, okay? So we have about 50 minutes. And again, you can have access to my email for as long as you like, right? So here in the chat, I will send my email, and I always like to do so because we sent, for example, the recording to everyone who subscribed, and perhaps it went to your spam page. It's not common, okay? So, but let's just suppose it went to your spam, not in your inbox. You didn't receive the recording, or you had another question, but we only have a training once a month, and you do not have a CS, or you're talking about other business stuff with your customer success, and perhaps it's not something that you want to bother support with, or the support team has a line that is not very viable to you, you have my email, right? So if I'm on vacation, someone will be there to cover you in my email, okay? So you can send me anything that you want through there, and we can have a conversation, okay? So, okay. do not worry, I will not stay in this slide for very long, okay? But the first thing that I want to talk to you about is what is a process management, right? So people are always, I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I hear the word process in my in my routine here at work. And when I entered Pipefy like more than 2 years ago, I thought I knew what a process was because I did that like constantly, right? I had a career before, so I knew what a process was, but I had no idea everything that a process entailed. So I did not use Pipefy before I joined Pipefy, but I knew the tool, right? I knew a few competitions as well, but I really had no idea the scope that all of these tools had. So when I got to learn a little more about Pipefy, I got to understand what is a process and what exactly do I need for a process to work, right? And basically to every customer that I once was, I actually entered Pipefy as a customer success manager for global customers. And I used to tell them that processes are like routines, right? So I did not have to teach that to them, but once I got to talking and I got to explaining the metaphor, they had new ideas regarding their processes, and I thought that was brilliant. So I like to bring everything to my life, basically. So how does a work process, right, a corporate process, relate to my daily routine, right? I love a routine. I am such a routine person. I do love traveling. I love adventures. I love doing new stuff, but I just, there's nothing like getting back to what I am used to. Okay. So my routine is I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I brush my teeth, I take my coffee, and so on. So those are the first steps to my routine, right? The main thing about my routine is that it's mine. No one wakes up for me. No one gets out of bed for me. No one brushes my teeth for me, right? Sometimes someone makes coffee for me, but I'm the one who gets to decide what I eat. So this is the accountability of the process, right? That goes for admins and members of a process, right? So let's go to my favorite place. This is my favorite place, right? So if we have, for example, this main page here of my organization, this is like my life. Everything is in here, right? And in members, for example, of this life, I have people who are admins, I have people who are external guests, I have people who are from IT, I have the super admins. But like either way, I'm the one responsible for what I do. So if I have an admin, if I have a member, both of these permissions have something to do in the process, and they need accountability for their actions, right? For their responsibilities. So this is the first thing that I need for a process, all right? Then I need to actually know what I'm going to do. In my routine, I cannot wake up without knowing what's next. I do not need to know what I'm going to do until 10 p.m. That's not necessary. I do like to have that list, but that's not necessary, right? So I need to know what comes next. So I wake up, let's just suppose I stay in bed and I don't know what to do. How is my routine going to work? I have time, I have responsibilities to meet, and I have basically a list of things, a list in my to-do list, right? Things in my to-do list that I need to accomplish, right? So it's a knowledge of what I have to do. Then you can think about not only the accountability, but the resources that I need for that to get done. So I said, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, take my coffee. I actually need things for that routine to happen. How do I brush my teeth without a toothpaste, without a toothbrush, without a sink? How do I have my coffee without a kitchen, without a coffee maker, without the bread that I'm going to eat, the fruit that I'm going to eat? I need the resources, right? And if I wake up and I see that I do not have a toothbrush, that I do not have a toothpaste, that my fridge is completely empty, that I don't even have a coffee maker, how is my routine going to work? The resources need to come first. I need to plan my resources so that my process can happen, right? So these steps of my process are completely up to me. And like I said, I've done all of these alone. Okay, so it's a day that I make my own coffee, I decide what I eat, and I've eaten, I'm good. Then I go to the gym. Okay, now I do rely on a personal trainer. But let's suppose that someone does not rely on a personal trainer. They know what to do. Okay, so they've graduated in physical education, so they know what to do. They need to get to the gym, and there they will have the equipment to do their exercises, right? How do they get to the gym? If they go on foot, that's great. If they take their car, that's a resource, right? And that's an extra ability that they need. And let's suppose in my story here, they are a physical educator, right? They're not a mechanic. So if they start their car and something happens, the car doesn't start, the ignition is not working, and they cannot drive to the gym, the routine has stopped. The routine is not going to work. They can't actually solve that problem with the car if they do not have help. They need to bring that car to a mechanic. They need other people to help with this routine. If I can go to the gym and use all of the equipment that I need without talking to one person, that's a very impressive and empty gym, okay? But let's suppose that happens. When I come back, I need to take a shower and get to work. I do not know one person that works alone. Everyone here relies on someone, whether they have a permission, a level in their company above you, underneath you, it doesn't matter. If they're a colleague, doesn't matter. You always rely on other people, as every process does, right? So you can have your own process. When I entered Pipefy, I already gave an example like this one. But when I entered Pipefy, I actually wanted to test the product. I wanted to learn. So I put my routine in a process. And I was like, go to the dentist. I had a trip planned, so I put it on the product. And I discovered that I actually needed to add people. For example, the trip that I had planned, it wasn't just me. I was going with a couple of friends, and each one of us had specific responsibilities regarding the trip, right? So one was responsible for like the things that we were going to do, one was responsible for the transportation. So if I wanted to have all of those details, I needed other people, right? And each person, each group of people as well, have their own responsibilities. So if my car broke down, I need the mechanic to have their responsibility to fix my car. I do need a personal trainer to fulfill her responsibility to help me with my exercises and to motivate me. I cannot rely on myself to exercise, right? If I go to work, I do need other people to fulfill these responsibilities as well. And if I'm talking about people, I'm always talking about communication, right? There's no way that I can actually talk to people, that I can have a conversation without effective communication. In my routine, like I said, I can be completely alone, I can live alone, I can be completely a loner in my own choices, but I will still need to communicate to go to the supermarket to get a hold of all of my resources, right? Oops, I planned ahead. Let's go. I'm just trying to basically put you in a mindset of process, okay? So I also need to realize that all of the things that I've said here are planned events. Actually, not all of them, because my car broke down. So that is an unforeseen event. My gym can actually, I mean, have you guys seen a gym in January? It's impossible. Everyone has their resolutions to fill out. They are so motivated, and the gym is an impossible place to go to. That can be an unforeseen event because I have a list of exercises to do and I cannot always get through all of them, especially not in order, right? I can have an accident in the street walking by myself or in a car. Someone that I rely on cannot be there for me, not like for any reason, but that is also an unforeseen event. So I need adaptability. I need to know that not all of the things are going to go as planned, right? And that is why I need patience. I need patience to build a process. I need patience to learn. I've had so many customers who wanted to learn everything about Pipefy as quickly as possible. And I just tried to explain to them, I don't know everything about Pipefy. I really wish I did. I really wish I did. Product managers don't know everything about Pipefy, right? So some people do because they're constantly learning the new features, but I learn new things about Pipefy like every month at least. Okay. So we do need patience to understand that things are not going to go as planned, as quickly as we want, as effectively as we want. But we do need to have our goals set. And of course, we always go back to the accountability to make sure that we are trying to fill in these gaps. And to end my routine, I do like to have results. I go to the gym to have results. And not necessarily about my body, not exactly about the way that I feel, but I do have one specific result in mind, right? I need to be healthy. I need to basically rest from all of my day to day tasks. I need to put off some steam. I need any number of things, right? I need to eat because I'm hungry, because I need to eat healthier. I need to work because I need the money, because I'm very motivated in my company. You have goals. So as long as you have those set, you need the data, you need the result to see if your goal was met, right? Guys, does this explanation make sense? I want you to think about the process now in Pipefy, right? If it helps, you can open a pipe, you can create a pipe with your routine. All right, I do advise you to do that. I think that's a great way to start off with Pipefy, okay? And of course, I always like to remind everyone, no one here pays for a pipe. Okay, so you can start as many pipes as you want and you can test your processes as much as you'd like, right? I do understand we have some things in Portuguese here by pipes created, by databases created, but don't worry, they're not important, okay? So now that I've told you a little bit about processes, I would like to cover some things about Pipefy. Okay, so this is my process. Okay, and there are many things here that help me. I mean, this is my organization, right? So I have processes here, and there are many things here that help with my processes. Databases, for example, they are a list of resources that I need for a specific process, right? So I have activities, I can have accounts, I can have candidates, I can have open positions, I can have products, any number of things, right? And I have other features here that I need to explore. So this is my most important lesson for today. Do not stay in what you already know. Okay, so I know where to go in new pipes. Here I have, for example, oh, it's the other pipes here. Actually, let's start a new one. Okay. So let's start a find accounts payable process, right? So I have here a template. I know that I can start a process here, and I know that Pipefy will create something automatically for me with a few tips, right? So this is what you know. You can use actually the artificial intelligence. You can create a process from scratch, or you can create something that has any number of information here, right? Just 1 second. This is what you know, okay? Go back to home and you know databases as well. Oops, I exchange companies. That happens sometimes. Let's go to product onboarding. I have the account databases, right? Let's see if I can see the list because I'm not on it. So I'm not a member. Let's just invite me as a member here. There I am. Send my event to myself. And if I update here, I will be able to see the list here in my database, right? So again, this is what I know. But I only stay at this home page. I do not go to portals. I do not go to tasks and requests, which is something new of our product, okay? I do not go to interfaces, which is my favorite, okay? So, for example, the interfaces feature is still in the base, is still under development. So it's still in beta, right? That means that we are receiving feedback about this feature, okay? So of course you can always send it to me, but this is a direct channel with our product manager responsible for this feature, right? So if you create an interface here, you will see what this actually can do for you, okay? We've received many feedback before we released the interfaces feature that was about where is Pipefy's blank page? Where can I add, for example, elements of 5 different processes? Right? So let's suppose I am an HR analyst and I need to have one page with details regarding 5 processes that I participate in. So I can be the one responsible for the onboarding. So I can be an admin for this pipe. But I'm a member of the reimbursement pipe. I'm a member of the vacation request pipe, and I need these details in one place. This is what interfaces does, okay? If we grab data and just move to the side here, we have an option to add pipes or databases, right? So here I will select an option. We created the accounts payable, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to use it because I don't know if I'm in the company. But for example, let's use so this is collaborators onboarding, right? Just so that you can see it, because I knew the names were in English, John and Paul, right? I can sort by title here because this is the only field that I'm displaying. I can add other fields to display here, right? So when it was created, the labels that we had, the due date, the current phase, right? So I can just move that information here. I also have like other things to edit, but this is just so you can see the lengths that interfaces will go to. I can add images here. Okay, so any images from our database or from your computer, from URL, any scenario, right? I can have videos. I can have outside links. I can have embedded codes. I can have texts. And I can have other data from different pipes, from different databases, right? So this is what interfaces does. And I can have one interface with many pages. I can have different pages like a document, right? So that works for one specific department, one specific person can have different pages, one specific project as well, okay? So that is very, very useful. Of course, I can also share this interface with people that I want. I can invite specific members, okay? According to my permission, of course. So let's see if we have a questions here, everyone. Please do not be ashamed to ask questions, okay? It's anonymous, and of course, you can also send it to me afterwards through email as well, okay? Someone asked here, are the templates provided a suggestion of Pipefy, or is it formulated from how the company or department would want the pipe to be formulated? That's an excellent question, okay? So I'm assuming you mean the templates for the pipe. So let's go back to home. And once you create a pipe, you have here many examples of templates, okay? This is most definitely not out of Pipefy's head, okay? This is based on successful cases from each and every one of these processes, okay? I mean, so much so that, for example, the accounts payable that I used, we have a video because it's one of the most common and successful use cases in Pipefy. So we have here also I mean, not all of them, but a lot of templates that we have some statements from people who use it, okay? So Mauricio, for example, is a customer service and procurement manager, and he used the accounts payable. And this is very important because he also gave some tips here, okay? So this is based on a study, all right? And of course on Pipefy's intelligence according to the processes that were used. So this is all based on successful cases and of course in specific lines according to what it entails. So what I mean by that is, for example, we have here CRM. We have less options of processes because these are the ones that we have data for. There are many other processes that could be in a customer relationship management, but these are the only ones that we safely advise you to use because it is based on what we've already seen working. All right. So again, guys, if you have any other questions, you can send them through the Q&A button. All right. I also showed you the tasks and requests tab. I wanted to go back to that because it's very new. Okay. So, but I mean, not completely new if you already had experience with tasks separately and requests separately, right? So let me just have some water, 1 second. Guys, I had 3 trainings today. This is the second. So I am just taking care of my voice, all right? So basically we had the tasks tab separated from the requests tab, right? So a new launch was actually making all of these two together. Why is that? This is a very important experience for the outside user. That's what we call the guest user. Okay, so this is based on the guest experience. Okay, so I mean, in our help center, if anyone wants that link, I can send them to you later. But in our help center, we have content regarding the guest experience and the difference of permissions. So in an organization, we have outside guests that are called external guests, and we also have company guests, right? Which are people who do not actually need access to Pipefy, but they are from your company. And the external can be used for customers, for example, right? So they do not need to be an user of Pipefy. You do not have to pay for them to use Pipefy, but they can still come in touch with our product, have contact with our product, right? And the tasks are basically a way for you to assign tasks for them to complete, right? Let me just switch companies for a second because I have better examples to show them to you. Let's go to Champions Academy, which is an initiative that we have here, to tasks and requests. I have them, oh, I do not have them undone, but I do have more requests. So the tasks are something that are assigned to you and you need to complete, right? So I will show you later how to actually assign a task to someone, but you need to do it through email. Basically, you send an email template to the person with the link of the task. They open it and it directly comes to pending, okay? So once that person fills out what is missing, it will come here to done, okay? And the request is something that they've opened themselves. So those are the requests, the submissions, basically the forms that you filled out, and you are waiting to see what happens to that request, right? So for example, I have a draft here, but it was created 8 days ago, right? And it is currently in the approval phase. So that is what I need to know. I also have access to the messages here if there are any. I have the ID, and then I can go to the pipe and actually see how, I mean, basically the whole process, it depends on the permission, right? So if I am an admin for that process and somehow I actually had to file a submission, fill out the form in that process, I can go to that pipe and I can see all of the requests. But if I'm not, which is what I meant by guest experience, I only have access to my requests. So I cannot go in the pipe. I know that my request is in approval. And once it's done, it will update here, right? So I can actually keep tabs on that request through this page, okay? So that makes it easier for the guests to actually control their task that they need to do and the request that they made, right? So what else do we get to show you here today? I'm here to show you hidden gems, okay? So if you are in a pipe, let's go back to the other company. This is something that you won't actually need to do. I just have a lot of companies, okay? So in the product onboarding here, let's go to, actually, I'm pretty sure it's here. Oh, it's not, did not save the pipe. Let's start a new one. Let's start a human resources request, okay? And like I said, here's the video, right? So it's a good use case. And we have here a statement as well, okay? So let's use this template. I can also create a pipe using AI. I don't know if you guys have done it yet, but it's very, very interesting. I have a spoiler to show you here as well regarding AI, okay? But let's just, first things first. So I have here a lot of cards in my process, right? Each and every phase. And sometimes we think, okay, I'm just getting the head of our customers, of you guys here. So I think we have a question here in the chat. So for approvals, we can utilize the tasks and request function both for internal and external guests. You can use it, but it depends on the permission that they need to have, okay? So Tina, I will send you through email one link explaining the difference of permissions, because there are no such thing as internal guests. They are company guests and external guests. So if the person that is involved in that approval doesn't need any other permission besides company guest, then yes, you can use the tasks and requests tab. Okay, so I will send you through that later. All right. So guys, what I wanted to show you is this. Sometimes we just think that we will only be able to get data from our process if we go to the dashboards, okay? And dashboards have a thing of scaring customers, okay? You do not need to be scared of dashboards. Dashboards are very easy, and they are a feature that need feedback from our customers, right? So when I'm actually exploring the dashboard, sometimes I find something that needs to be better, and I myself go to the product manager responsible, and he completely has a control of all of the feedbacks that he's received, right? So this is very important because we have the main things that we need to focus on. We have a roadmap, but your opinion is very important in this time. And when we are organizing what needs to be better, the more people that we have asking for changes in dashboard, for example, then the quicker these changes will come, okay? So, for example, I have here the request per phase. You do see that I just created this pipe. I do not do anything, right? And this is what's magic about the template, okay? It shows you a few examples of what you can do. So I have here the request per phase. I have the lead time, which does not make a lot of sense because I've just created this pipe, but it's an actual data that you can have. And I have the new request. So this is the only card in the new request phase. I have the request per type, and this is such a beautiful graphic. I love the pizza visualization because it has many different colors and it shows you so well how it's divided, right? And I have here the vacation management. So John Smith is the only one here in the vacation request management, right? So this is very important for me to explore if I need results from my process. That is completely true. But I can also have a lot of information from my reports, right? And what do I mean here? I think sometimes people focus too much on learning new things about dashboards that they don't try to use reports enough. And we have so many options here, okay? we had issues with dashboards constantly. It doesn't show the info update in real time. Yes, and that is something that reports does better actually. So in dashboards, if you change something in the pipe, if you have a new request or whatever it is, it takes a little longer to update it, okay? It still updates, but it depends on how many information you have in the process. So I'm not sure if this is your case, but in processes that have so many cards, so many information, and if your organization already has a lot of processes running, then it might take a little longer, right? But this is just a delay matter, okay? So I think what he means is not just the delay, it's because it had previous issues by not loading all of the graphics, right? So what I do advise you in this case, especially if it's constant, is to, David, message me in my email with, if possible, screenshots or videos of the problem that you're having. And I'm not the product leader, but I do have a lot of contacts here within Pipefy in our products team. So perhaps that can be one improvement that we can do as quickly as possible, okay? And what I mean by that is that the support has other matters to solve, and I am a lot more focused on product feedback. It's literally my job, right? To teach product and to get feedback. So this is very important to know as well, okay? The reports have their own limitations, but it's quicker regarding the update, okay? So if you add a report, for example, you have here, so like the same filters that you have in dashboard, for example, you have columns that you can show whatever you want. You can export it, right, to an Excel, for example. You can actually perform formulas if you have the correct fields for that. So for example, if you have the number field, the number type field, and the exchange, I'm sorry, I forgot it in English. But basically the $1, the euro, right? So if you have fields that are regarding numbers, then you can add formulas to it, okay? And one thing that I don't know if you guys here are aware of, but I do know that some people in Pipefy weren't aware of it until recently, actually. You're here in the reports, and I'm sorry, I didn't save this one. Let's apply a filter here. So current phase is approval, apply. So from 7 we have 2. And I also added so many columns to this report. Okay, so it's a new report. Let's save here as an example. So now that I have this report here, I can change colors. It's very cute. I can edit. I mean, this is actually a little more complicated. I can edit here, but if I just click on it, it's the same place, right? I can delete it, I can export it, but I cannot duplicate this report. And that makes more, like, a lot of processes more difficult, because sometimes we need information based on something that is already set. So for example, here I have the current phases approval and all of these columns, right? I need a different report with this filter and another one, right? With the example that I'm giving here is so simple. It wouldn't be that hard to create a new report and actually put these two filters. But let's suppose here that I have like 10 filters set, and I need to duplicate it to add 10 more, right? And that would be such a waste of time to actually create a new one to put the 20 if I just needed to add another 10, right? And the one thing that I can do is, this is a little hack, okay? Right here, we have a little arrow down and reports. In here, I can see the reports that I have created. So for now, I only have the example. But if I click on new reports, I've duplicated, right? So you've seen here, example, right? New report, it's the same. The filter is here and the columns are here. I just need to save it as the one duplicated. I mean, and then I can actually perform other things here, right? But if you go here like example duplicated, they're the same, all right? So this is a hack that we have to duplicate reports. Why don't we have the option to duplicate it here? I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know everything about our product. It wasn't a priority at the time. It isn't a priority now, but it is a hack that we have. Pipefy is also famous for its hacks and tricks, right? So basically a way to get to your solution without having to put our hands in the product. Sometimes we do need to put our hands on it. So for example, the delay time in dashboards is not something that we have a hack to solve, unfortunately, but this one we do. Okay, so this is a little hack, all right? Let me just see. I think we have another question. Okay. Processes change constantly in organizations. Perfect. How often can we update data and steps within our processes to better complete tasks? And what is the turnaround time for this? Okay, this is a good question. But I think it still depends on the use case that you have. Okay. So based on what I've seen from other customers here at Pipefy, they like to update or at least take an overview of their processes from 6 to 6 months. That is not a reality for every company. Some actually do it more often, so like like every quarter, and some may do it like every year, right? But that would be basically taking let's go here on the flow. It's actually a good place to show that. This is my process, right? So I have here the start form. These are the phases. I know like from this phase, you can go to this and this phase, and this is how I can see it. I have the descriptions. I have other resources here, right? In this case, I don't have automations yet, but this would be a flow view of my process. The one thing that you can do is just actually analyze and actually create an example card and see how that process is working and try to realize if you of course take a look at the dashboards and reports, analyze the data, what is working, what isn't working, what are the bottlenecks that you need to solve, and within like if it makes sense for your company from every 6 months, every year, just try to update it and keep as efficiently as possible. Okay. Again, guys, the Q&A is open. Okay, I am just trying to explain to you the main things here about our product. I of course want to show you something that you might not be aware of as well. Actually, I need to go and edit pipe here. These are some type fields that we have here, right? So I meant the currency. I'm sorry, that was the word that I forgot in the reports. It's the numeric field type and the currency field type, right? What I wanted to show you is this. Let's suppose here I have the requester name. I don't see if you see here, but we've changed a little bit of the layout in our fields, okay? And we can have a description, right? So in this case, I can put like, for example, like give us your full name or something like that, okay? But let's suppose that I want them actually to access a list of names. So if I'm asking for a product, for example, I want them to access an outside list from another place. I want them to actually access a link, click on a link, and then they can answer this field more correctly, right? So it's an asset that I will have to this field. What I can do is, it's actually also, I don't think many people know about this as well. I didn't until recently, actually. So it's basically like, for example, click here, right? And underneath it, I can put a link. So just a spoiler, this is a course that I will advise you to take. I can put here like the hacks and tricks link, okay? And once I do that, I'm sorry, the link will be available to them, okay? So this is a way for us to be sure that we can also put links on the description, okay? It has not updated, but I think here, let's see if here will. Once we've recruited the crest, once we've updated, I think it will, okay? Here. There is a way for you to actually put an outside link and they can access, okay? So that is also very helpful. If I go to the email as well, now that we're talking about links, email templates, request approved, for example. We have here the name of the sender, the email of the sender, of course, where the person that will receive an email. And we have here the subject. Here we can also add dynamic content, okay? So it's basically some things that we can use to personalize this email. And here we have the task link. Do you guys remember the tasks and requests? And this is how I actually attribute a task to someone. So if I use this task link, they will receive that through email, and they can answer, they can actually, they will receive as a pending task, and they can complete it, right? If I go here to my visual editor, so basically this is the visual editor of the email. And if I go here, this is the code email, right? The HTML. So I know that this is the card current phase public link, and this is the task link, right? The task is basically the fields that they need to fill out of pending information. So this is the phase link. Let's suppose that I have the click here. I think this one updates more quickly, okay? The field one needs a little time to update. I can pretend to put a URL here. So let's suppose that my link is just, okay? You will see what I mean soon enough. If I go to the HTML, I can see that this is the link that I put it, right? But I actually want this one because it's the task link. So I can just copy here, paste here. This is low code, okay? This is simple code. And if I go back to Visual Editor, it's the same, but if I receive this email, I can actually erase this one. Click here to complete, for example. And it is basically the link of my current phase. Okay, so it's the same thing. All right. These are just the main hacks that I wanted to show you for today. Can we, we have a question here, just one second. Can we share tasks with people without license? We can, okay? So you can attribute tasks to someone who doesn't have a Pipefy license because they are external guests, okay? So along with the recording, I can send you that article that explains a little bit about how is the guest experience for our external and company guests, okay? I mean, that is very helpful because a lot of people have like contact with Pipefy. They need to fill out a form. They need to keep tabs on what that requester has done, on what it needs to be completed, and they don't necessarily need to have a license, all right? So I will send you that as well. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to show you is the, here's the human resources, is the automations. I told you to make the most out of automations. And how are you going to do that? You're going to do that by exploring. We have a lot more options here of events and of actions, right? So if a card enters the phase, which is a simple event, we can distribute assignments, which is basically a round robin distribution or a random distribution, right? A random distribution. We can run a formula, so we can actually use based on numerical currency fields, but we can also use it for date fields. So for example, if you want to simulate a vacation time, if you want to add values according to a purchasing process, it is all possible. Make an HTTP request. This is a little more code, but this is very helpful with integrations, all right? And this is the spoiler, guys. We are now having a generate with AI option, okay? So you can do so much with this. But do not be alarmed. I will soon send you more info on this. This is still being tested in our product. It is only available for internal members, but you will soon be able to test it, okay? This just to show you that we are exploring a lot of what is useful for you. So, like I said, your feedback is very important to us, okay? Guys, do you have any other questions? This is basically the main things that you need to run a process very well, okay? any questions? Because I do have one final message for you. We have here basically an open office hour, right? So every week we have a specialist in a room for 30 minutes. Right now it's at Wednesday, every Wednesday at 10 a.m. PST. And that specialist knows everything, right? So they know everything about integrations, they know everything about APIs, they know all of the basics, of course, as well. So you are free to join them whenever you'd like. I am sending you two important links, right? So this is the link for our process management certificate that you can do. You can also do our hacks and tricks, right? So, but you can click on this and the Academy will show you other courses that we have as well, okay? And one that we have here that is very important, guys, not necessarily webinars. It's this onboarding page. And in here, you will find the link to the open office hour. We just won't have a session next week because we have a Pipefy event in Sao Paulo, and the whole company is going to be there. So unfortunately, we won't be able to host this open office hour session. But in the final week of January, we will be back. Okay. So I will send an email explaining everything to all of our global customers soon. But we have here the Q&A session in English and in Spanish. We also have them in Portuguese. And we have like the live trainings, for example, are the webinars, right? So the last one that we had was about connections. That was the last of 2023. That was incredible. If you guys could watch it, it's awesome. And our training here will be available here soon enough, but you will receive the recording to that, okay? We have a final question here. Is there any update on the possibility of the interfaces to be able to filter or be downloaded as Excel sheets? I do not have an update. I do know that is one feedback that we've received a lot because it's an option that we have to export like reports and dashboards. We can export many things, and interfaces, we do not have that as Excel sheets, but that will be coming soon enough. As soon as I have a date, I can try to give that to you. If you want to, like I said, get a hold of me through email, perhaps I can come up with, like, I can actually get a hold of them and privately send it to you, okay? But I think that as soon as we have it, we will launch it to our beta testers, okay? Interfaces is actually one feature that will be under development for a few months because we still have so many updates to come, okay? It is Pipefy's blank page, so there is a lot of options yet to unfold. Okay, guys, so I guess that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. My email is in the chat, so this is your last chance to copy and paste in your inbox there. And I love talking to customers, so if you want to get in touch with me to talk about anything regarding Pipefy, regarding your needs, your journey, just count on me, okay? So thank you so much, and I hope to see you next month. Bye-bye.